What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We live? I think so. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday. Make sure we're live on X here. It says broadcast unavailable. Oh, I know why. This is why. Maybe now? Let's see here. All right. Let's try that one more time. What's up, guys? All right. Let's get this mic all situated. I need to get a little arm for this. How's it sound? Good? Sound good? All right. Morning, guys. Margin. Chef. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back. We got a new setup in the office. Definitely happy to be back on this side of the room. We experimented, but I'm liking this a lot better. Got the standing desk. Now we can stand up during our trading, move around, get the legs moving a little bit. So, had to switch it up. Sound is good? All right. No swingers for me. I was short gold, and I just got stopped out. There's a really nice break and retest on gold I'll talk to you guys about. Had to give it a try. Just got stopped out like 10 minutes ago on this little squeeze. So nothing for me, really. Nothing for me, really. ES, daily 20 SMA today, very much important to me. Can we make a higher low in this market? Can we find some kind of a catalyst to move us outside of this channel? That's really what I'm going to be looking for today. Daily 20 on ES, pullback daily 20 on NASDAQ is interesting today. Apple, probably my top watch of the day to see if Apple can get a little move on. Going to be watching for that. It's probably the most exciting watch right now for me. Also AMD. So Apple, AMD are probably my top two right now. Those are my top two. Besides that, Aqua is going to get interesting again, it looks like. To me, I do believe Aqua has maybe found a little bit of a high, but Aqua is proving otherwise again, holding very strong. I did sell half of my Aqua shares last week, just so you guys know. So I'm back to 150 shares from 300. We'll see if it can continue, but I'm happy to take some off at those highs. What else? I think that's about it. We have a busy week of earnings. We have Tesla earnings this week, so that'll be important. We have CPI on Friday, which is a very strange day to have CPI, but I think it is because of the government shutdown. So we'll see how that all sets up. We'll see how that works out. We'll see when the CPI actually is, but that's something to be aware of. I think that's it. So let's get started. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into it. Let's make sure that everything is still set up. Should be good now. Sorry about that. Sweet. Yeah, it's because I changed the mic. Should be good now. So yeah, what I was saying was when you couldn't hear me, trading levels, you shorted the gold. It was a good look, and I was up like $600 on the gold short at one point. But I wanted to let it go to my levels and go to my target. Just didn't get there. Hit my stop at the 42.92, which could have been, maybe brought up to 4,300, but I'll look for it again today. I'm definitely interested still in looking to see if that intraday action on gold short is there, and I'll show you guys why it's interesting, why the gold short is something I'm watching today. We'll have to see. We'll have to be careful. Always like to keep tight stops on gold, keep it MGC. Have not wandered into trading GC just because it's so aggressive, and I don't feel like losing $1,000 in 10 seconds. So just keeping it light, seeing if I can catch, a little bit of a downside move on gold here. I think you will have a sort of cool-off period on gold, but we're going to have to see when that sets up. There is a reason for it, and I'll show it to you guys in just a second. So before we do that, let's jump into our earnings calendar because we do have some earnings this week, and we're heading back into earnings season, which is, I guess, exciting. I don't know, whatever you want to say. It could be exciting. Maybe it's not exciting, but here is your earnings calendar. Let's go ahead and pull that up. You guys can see right here, earnings calendar. We do have Netflix tomorrow, which is a decent one. We have GE Aerospace, not big. We have Lockheed Martin, decent. RTX, defense sector. Philip Morris, Zins. Maybe there's another big move on the Zin craze. Not really interested there. The ones I'm going to be watching, seeing what Netflix does, seeing what Tesla does. Interested in GEV, GE Vernova, as that is sort of a nuclear energy name. Intel earnings, we'll see what it does. Definitely some positivity around Intel lately, but basically all I'm saying here is watch out, right? Earnings approaching, be aware of it. Make sure if you're holding anything overnight, you might have an earnings move that messes you up. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I would say are the top ones to watch. Netflix, Tesla. Those are the big two. Okay? All right. So with that said, let's jump right into the ES levels. You guys can see right here, I've been watching this daily 20 SMA, and I think this is probably one of your most important spots of the day. It's somewhere between this daily 20 SMA at 67.18 and down into the 66.96 for me. I'm watching everywhere between these highs from Friday that turned into a very strong low down here at 66.96, and then right here at this daily 20, which we're trying to hold above right now in the pre-market. We had a little bit of a slip below it and then a reclaim back above that daily 20. So there is something going on here at the daily 20 that I do want to watch here to start the day. If you guys remember our thesis from Friday, which was so spot on, which really was the result, that thesis is what made me money on Friday. is the reclaim hold back above Thursday's lows. This was so clean. So we had those lows on Thursday of last week. We had the reclaim hold that we were watching on Friday, and that pretty much kept us higher the entire day. So now what I'm going to be watching is, do we reclaim the daily 20? Reclaim daily 20 and hold above this 66.96, which is really close to just that 67 psychological number. So this is really the demand zone that I want to be watching today. Any drips, any pullbacks into this zone, in my opinion, is still bullish. Anything above this pivot right here. See this pivot? Here, here, and then here? That's intraday on Friday. Into end of day, right? Into close, after hours. You have intraday high, breakout to end the day, holding above that to end the day into the overnight session, obviously into, Sunday open. And you can see Sunday open yesterday, last night, whatever you want to call it, held perfectly right at those pivot highs, right? So that is your zone right there between the daily 20 and 66.96. Anywhere in here, I would say keeps the market suspended. If you fail back under 66.96, that would be where I would say you would get weakness on this market and navigate back down into the 66.40 demand once again. This would be your short watch today. Fail, fail, fail. Right here, break, reject it, bam, downside 66.40. Right? That would be my watch. If you hold above the daily 20, you hold above this zone, pullback longs is my watch, right? Pretty clear. Now, the target is limited, right? The target is limited for sure. Target is limited up into 67.50s, 67.60s, no doubt about it. You have major supply highs, major supply highs. So really, if you long this zone, your target is up into here and your profit taking into that level, right? Because that is still the channel high. And that is the must-break level for the bulls. You have to get above this zone right here. Without that, anything to the upside is still very much limited and potentially false, right? If you get another upside move today and you reject this again, well, you're going back down, right? So short-term upside is possible on a daily 20 SMA reclaim, but I would say it's limited to the fact that you can get up into the supply again and fail once again. You get over 67.60, you're seeing all-time highs on this market again. All right, that's what you'd be looking for. So let's see. Let's see. This area under 66.96 to here would be the short area to me, right in here. If you maintain above this right here, I think you go up to supply highs. That's what I'm watching today. NASDAQ futures, very similar read. I would want a little bit of a deeper pullback on NASDAQ. We'll see if we get it. I think the money spot today would be a pullback into this 24,975 to 24,912. That would be my money pullback. That would be where I'd get pretty aggressive on the long side if I see positive price action, right? That is these rejection highs. That is these highs, these lows. And that is the daily 20 at 24,913. This would be, to me, the beautiful pullback long spot to be looking for. If we get that, we shall see. I would hope so. However, once again, that is a limitation to the upside on that move. That would also be, so let me backtrack a second. A pullback to this level would also be a pullback to these lows, to these lows, to these lows, to these highs, to these highs, to these highs, right? Look how much is there. Look how many previous pivots are at that zone. So highs, lows, highs, right there. That, to me, is where the bulls are waiting. That's where the orders are waiting, in my opinion, right in there. 24,912, 24,975, daily 20 SMA, a lot of reason to look for a pullback long in that zone today. So that's definitely a big watch for me. Now, that is limited to the upside. Why? Right? This is not, Desi said to long here, and I'm going to long for the rest of the week. No. If you long here and this rejects again, then that's no bueno. Right? So this is a limited upside move here still. I still need to see us get over to really like this 160 to 250 zone on the NASDAQ futures. Right? Very clear. Rejections. So any upside move is still limited to the fact that we're below this supply above. That's the problem, right? That's the problem. That is the problem right up there. So questionable, right? Do you get maybe a little bit of a long, and then do the sellers come back in and just smack this down again? Very possible. Very possible. All right, so you got to pay attention to both sides. Underneath the daily 20 today is where you'd fade the NASDAQ, right here. If you fail back under this 24,912, fail back under the daily 20, I think you fade the NASDAQ back down to 660, 620, right back down here. Okay? All right, let's go to the SPY. You guys can see right now the SPY ETF is holding the daily 20, holding our 664 demand. That is the pullback long that I'm watching for today. You guys can see right here, it is that rejection point from Thursday. It is the 664 hold from Friday, and that is also right near that daily 20. So anywhere between the daily 20, which is at 665, and 664, that would be my pullback long spot right in there. If you can hold that, I like your possibility of upside. Now, it's limited. Again, it's very limited. The limitations are up into, I would say, starting around 667s to 670s. Very tough spot up here. You got to break over this 667. If you can get that, maybe you find a little squeeze into 670, but that 670 level is going to be a monster, as you can see what happened here on Wednesday. So I like the pullback long thesis. I like the idea of the ES reclaiming the daily 20. I think that is interesting. However, I would be understanding that it could be a limited move because of the upside supply, right? Pretty clear. QQQ, this is the money spot for me right here. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you guys can see right here, this is actually the best read for me today is on the QQQ. And that is right here. See that 4-hour left shoulder? That's really your left shoulder. That's the previous pivot high on the 4-hour chart right there. That turned into rejections right here. Then that turned into what we were holding on this market for a very long time, right? Holding. Now, today, you can see that zone is right here. 601.39, 603 area. That is also right at the daily 20 SMA. So this zone right here would be my pullback spot to be looking for today. If we can get a pullback long back into this low, this would be sort of what I'd be looking for to see if it can hold. If we fail back under that daily 20, then we revert back down to 596, right? And that's that. If you fail that daily 20 today, you're going back lower. It's pretty simply put. If you fail these highs, if selling pressure comes in, if we come back to the daily 20, if we see no battle here from bulls and we just see a slip below, you're going lower. So if you get this pullback, which I think would be right off 608, then right, daily 20 pullback, we have to see if the bulls step up. We'll see, right? This is where you bounced off of here in the overnight session. You can see right here, we held, let me go to the NASDAQ futures. You can see in the overnight session here, this is that zone that held, right? So are we going to continue to hold that zone, or are we going to fail back below it? That's really the big question to me today. And then also immediately in the short term, are we going to hold the daily 20 on the ES here? 67.18. See this little, it's very short term, but you see this little trap right here, little alfalfa, as we like to call it. Lows, daily 20, fail below, reclaim back above, right? Little trap below the daily 20. Does this maintain into market open? If this can maintain into market open, then you might be able to get an early morning push off that level. If you fail back under that before market open, then, we got to be a little bit cautious of that pullback under the daily 20 to start the day. So this is going to be a big area that I'm watching to start the day, around 67.18 on ES. You can also see that this is some major previous highs, right? Right here. So this is a big spot that we're sort of just sitting on right now in the pre-market, 67.18. Okay? Yep, 20 SMA on NASDAQ. What platform do you use? What futures platform do you use? So I've been messing around with Top Step a little bit, just sort of, getting a feel for it, getting a feel for futures a little bit. As we trade sideways in this channel, I felt like it was a good time to step away from the option side a little bit. I still trade options on a daily basis. We've taken options trade every day. But inside of channels, options trading is a little bit less advantageous, at least options buying and buying, right? Selling options is really the most, advantageous thing to do in a sideways channel. This channel has been pretty big, but overall it has been sideways without any trend. So I sort of told myself, hey, what a time to mess around with some futures trading, and why not give it a shot as we sort of wait to see what the next trend on the market is. So yeah, I started that Top Step account. I hit the $6,000 target in 3 days, and now it's just a Express whatever live account, whatever the hell that is. I'm not too familiar with everything, but I'm learning. Just trading the break and retest when I see it, trading my levels, and we'll see how it goes. Right, just a little experiment, a little test. Nothing wrong with it. I think I paid like $100 and then $150, so like $250 all in, and see what I can do with it. That's really what I'm not going to be someone that says that I'm a pro at futures trading. I'm not, right? I haven't traded futures. I don't trade it very often. I understand my futures levels, right? And I'm going to see if my understanding of futures levels directly correlates to my trading performance of futures, right? Like, we have great levels on the ESNQ very often. And so I said, hey, let me see if I can translate this ability to read the levels and read the action into trading futures. Why not? Right? Maybe I only trade futures on the SPY. If I'm taking a market trade, that's in my mind, it's like, hey, if I'm going to take a SPY or QQQ or a market trade, let me trade the futures. If I like a setup on AMD, Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA, I'll trade the options, right? So stay away from the options on like the SPY and Qs, use the futures account for that, and then trade my normal, Tesla break and retest sexiness on the options account. That's sort of what I'm going to try to do. It might be too much for me to manage. We'll see. But, I'm never afraid to challenge myself. That's something I have always done in my career, is challenge myself, get uncomfortable, put myself in uncomfortable situations and learn and shine from them, right? And so that's what I'm doing. Another reason I did Top Step is because it does not, I think it just, I like their Top Step X platform. Pretty uneducated in this whole space, so don't take anything from me. I'm not going to be pretending like I'm a pro here. But that's just a little bit of insight. I'm always going to be open with what I'm doing, so I'm experimenting, basically. All right. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if I get paid out. And then, if I start doing well, my game plan is just to fund my own account, really. If I do really well here, I'm probably just going to put my own money in a Trade Evade account, to be quite honest. Because why not just trade my own money? Why have to split it if I'm doing well? But I don't know if I'm going to do well. That's why I started like this, right? But if I do, then it's, let me just throw 10K, 20K in a Trade Evade account and trade my own live account. That would be the ultimate goal. That should be everyone's ultimate goal, right? Learn and then put your own money in your real account. That's my goal. All right. So let's continue. Let's go to gold. Let me talk to you about why I look to short gold, which obviously has totally invalidated here. Completely invalidated. And I got stopped out. So really clear. You guys can see right here. I was looking for the break and retest rejection on gold of this 42.90, which just got totally ripped. Look at this rip. So got stopped out back at 42.91. Good stop out. This is where my stop was sitting, and I'm happy to be stopped out of that because this thing is now ripping over 20 points. So why did I look for this? Well, I tried to trade my break and retest, right? So if I see break and retest, I'm going to try it, regardless win or loss. So right here, I was looking at gold making this high, right? Had this very clear low at 42.90. We came down into the 41.90, and I was looking for the little retest rejection. So you can see previous lows here on gold, right here. Previous lows, previous lows, previous lows. And then look at that rejection that was setting up last night. So I took this last night right around here and actually was sitting up really nicely and I thought it was looking fantastic. Little bear flag, right? Little pullback right off the 42.90 retest right there. And I was up about $600 here, basically right around the time I went to bed. And I just said, hey, man, just hold your, let it be. Hold your target. My target was at 41.90. My stop was here at 42.91. I entered around 42.60. So I was risking about 70 points to make what is that? 70 points to make like it's like hold on, what was I risking? No, sorry, risking 30 points, my bad. 30 points to make 70 points. So it was like a 2-to-1, 2.5-to-1. So that's that. And I took a loss. But it was a good risk reward. It was a good break and retest. I liked it. It had the potential of that bear flag rejection at 42.90. Looked really good, but got stopped out. So now, flipping this analysis, which I think would be right? Could be the potential thing to look for, is can we now hold over 42.90? That could be something I'm definitely looking for today. Can gold now turn these lows and this high into a new hold level? This would be something to look for today. Watch that 42.90 on GC. Definitely an interesting spot. If we fail back under it, then maybe back down to the short thesis. But let's see what happens at 42.90. SMH. Moving forward on SMH, you guys can see right here. Just sitting at these highs, tough to read the SMH right now. Just sitting at these highs. Definitely a clear rejection. We'll have to see if we can get above it. But I'm going to have to wait, right? Because I really don't want to just long right into this high. If markets show strength today and we're getting a juice on NVIDIA, on AMD, which is a good setup, and we're seeing some SMH strength above this high, then maybe it's time to look for that breakout. But I'm going to need this to break out above this 346, 348. I need to see it. Because right now we're really just in this channel on the SMH. Good hold of the daily 20, which is great, but I need to get above these highs. I need to get above these SMH highs. If we do that, then I'm interested in some setups. So let's go ahead and jump into those setups. Press that like button, subscribe. Tesla, not so much interested in it today, even though I know a lot of people are anticipating a breakout here. I would be very careful, and I'm not saying this doesn't look pretty decent, right? The daily chart, good candle. Weekly chart, nice consolidation. Looks pretty good for that breakout on the weekly. However, be careful doing the whole guessing versus reacting on Tesla, man. Don't guess that this is going to be the week that this breaks out. Let it break out. There's plenty of run on something after it starts to move. And also on top of that, Tesla reports earnings this week. So, man, oh man, can Tesla play some games on its earnings week? I would be very careful on Tesla here. Now, could it give you a nice little squeeze maybe over this 450, 456 high? If you get that breakout, maybe you get your next juicy move into earnings on Wednesday. Man, am I sort of cautious here. So Tesla IV is going to be increased. The contracts are going to be juiced. I know a lot of people are sort of interested in Tesla this week. I'm sort of on the side of staying away from it, letting the earnings come out, letting it move on earnings, and then watching what happens after. That's personally my read. So maybe that's a little bit overcautious, but I think it's the right read personally. NVIDIA. Same exact rejection point again. I still don't like NVIDIA. It's still within this very distinct channel. You can see previous lows here. Look at these rejection highs. Look at the daily 20. You got to get above this for me. You got to get above this for me. Over this 184, 185 area, if you can reclaim above this high, then I'm game. I'm 100% game. Little break and retest, reclaim ripper right here would be sick. So definitely watching for that. You can see I have my alert set on that, but I need to see it happen. AMD is probably my top watch on the semis. AMD and MU are two top watches for me on the semi side. You guys can see right here, AMD, previous highs. Look at this hold. This is a beauty. Tried to trade this on Friday, and it just didn't really get going for me on Friday, but I am interested in it again today. Here is why, right? Look at this hourly chart. Look what AMD is doing. It's really nice. Right here. Highs. Look at this low. Right there. Beautiful pullback. Break. Retest. This is the pullback we were looking for. Possibly setting up. All right. If we can get above this high, do a little break and retest here, I think it's game time. especially if we can get the SMH to make a rip. If the SMH can go with this AMD move, I'm game on this one. I like this one a lot. MU, oh my gosh. Yeah, what a move on this one. This is an incredible. This is just like AMD. It is just like AMD. Why do I say that, right? Look at AMD, okay? Look at AMD. Look how similar these are. See this? See these highs? Look how it broke out and pulled back into it, right? Breakout, pull back into it. Look what MU did. Look at MU right here. And look what resulted in this. See these highs? Look at this. Breakout, pull back. This looks just like AMD before it breaks out. It's the same exact setup. Right? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if this looks half. Let me see if I can get this to look okay. Damn it. I hate when TOS does this. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to makeshift this right now. Load style. Desi, good. Okay. Let's go AMD. Okay. Let's go 1 hour. I might be able to make this work quickly. So that's AMD. That's MU. I know it's very skinny, but look at the setups. So you have highs, pullback, moving higher, right? Highs. Here's your, make a breakout, pullback. And look at this. Look at this. It's the same thing. So, definitely watching. No doubt. Definitely watching AMD today. It's the same setup as MU. There's no difference. It's a break and retest, reclaim above these highs. Same thing. Look what MU did. It's ripping. AMD, not quite there yet. But let's see. Maybe it's game time. So, keep an eyes on MU. Keep an eyes on AMD. MU sort of gone for me. Can't really chase the shit out of it. It's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to be more interested in just catching AMD, realistically, right? Instead of chasing MU, let me see if AMD gets going. But if MU can maybe pull back into the Thursday, Friday high, then maybe it's interesting right back in here. So, let's see. Very interesting stuff there. Broadcom continues to hold the daily 20. Look how clean this daily 20 hold is on Broadcom. Very clean stuff. Daily 20, daily 20. 360 has to break. But that daily 20 maintain is pretty nice. I would continue to watch this. What else? Oh, SMCI. Oh, no. Wait for me, please. Please wait. Yeah, SMCI, guys. Really good looking setup this morning. Really good looking setup, guys. Look at SMCI. Previous highs. Previous reclaim. Breakout. We were waiting for the pullback. Guys, look at the pullback, please. Please look at this. Pullback. Daily 20 catch. I mean, this is everything we talk about. Everything we talk about. Check. Oh, I got a big voice delay, don't I? Check. Yeah, I think I got to. I'll fix that tomorrow. Looks like my mouth is moving before you hear something, I think, or after. But anyways, right here, look at this. This is everything we talk about. Big breakout, extension over the daily 20, right? Don't chase the breakout. Wait for the pullback into the daily 20, and then look to see if that creates your little flag action. Look at SMCI. Definitely a watch today. Keep an eyes on this. Looking to see if this can go with the semis. I need some semi action. I'm going to need some semi action. And then I'm going to be looking to see if we can break over this Thursday, Friday high right here. Let me put an alert there. 56.23. Big watch. You don't see that problem? All right, good. I guess it's just on my end. Kamish, appreciate that, man. Thanks for covering gold. Hopefully that's a daily thing now. Feel free to throw in Daniel Jones as well. Man, Daniel Jones, huh? I mean, I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic with good old Jackson Dart. I'm not even going to talk about the game last night. If any of you guys watched the Giants game, it is the most classic Giants loss I've ever seen. That has to be one of the worst losses I've watched in years on the Giants. What a terrible, terrible team. Um, I mean, very happy to be a Giants fan right now, actually. I love watching Dart. I love watching Scattaboo. Great time, but my God, did they remind me how terrible it is to be a Giants fan yesterday. What a disaster. I hope they cut that kicker this morning. They better have. I know it's not his fault, technically, because the defense did give up so many points, but oh, man, just make the extra point, man. Just make the extra point. All right, let's continue. Oh yeah, I don't know the Dolphins, man. That's a bad situation over there. I'm happy I'm not a Dolphins fan. I will say Tua needs to hang it up, man. For his own health and for the good of his team. I was watching highlights of that. I don't even know what he was throwing at, to be honest. I have no idea what he was throwing the football at. All right, let's continue. So, Meta, consolidation, not interested. Amazon, consolidation, not interested. A lot of these tech names are just not interesting right now. Semis are continuing to be my watch. The only major tech name I'm interested in today is Apple. Apple looks incredible. Man, I'm sort of upset I missed this one. Should have been more all over this on Friday. I guess it's easy to say that now. But Apple, I think, is going to all-time highs and likely above it. Let me tell you my reasons. Number one, the news with F1 to Apple TV, I think, is a good catalyst, so that does help. However, you are seeing positive out of the iPhone cycle. That is the most important thing you could possibly see for Apple. Positive iPhone cycle data, especially in China. Whether it's true or not, I can't tell you, but that's the news I'm getting right now, right? That I'm seeing. That is very bullish for Apple. That is the most bullish thing for Apple that you could have, right? iPhone cycle, good. In China, even better. On top of that, cherry on top, F1 going to Apple TV and upgrades this morning. I think this has a catalyst, and I think this is absolutely the number one watch of the day. No doubt about it. This reclaim hold of 251 is a thing of absolute beauty, right? Look at this. You have previous highs, previous highs, previous highs. Look at this reclaim right here. That is so clean. That is incredibly clean on Apple. Now, it's a little bit unfortunate because that trade is sort of over, right? You can't really chase this now. You know, that's not just because I like Apple today doesn't mean I chase it straight up off the open. This was such a good reclaim at 251. Look at how beautiful that is. Previous low, into rejections, into rejections, into rejections, into holds. So perfect. Now today, all I'm going to have to wait for is a little 260 action. Either that or we get our pullback, right? Give me a little pullback to the daily 20. Give me a little pullback to 251. Give me some opportunity to get into this play on a pullback, or look for the break and hold over 260. One or the other. But Apple is absolutely top watch today. No doubt about it. Palantir, nothing. Needs to get out of this channel. Oklo, possibly interesting, but I am sort of cautious on Oklo. Just don't want to be caught at the highs here. 164, 161 area. Would be interesting to see if that holds on a little reclaim here. See this previous high right here. Looking to see if that reclaims. Not bad. Hood. Sort of interesting if we can get over this 137 spot in the daily 20. That's something I'm watching there. And Snow. Sort of an interesting pullback is here as well, right? Look at this. Look at Snow right here. Previous highs, right? Look at these holds. Look at this pivot, guys. This is what you want to look for. See this channel? Look at how this channel is holding above the previous one. That is called market structure, right? That is called market structure. This is structure. This is structure. These structure highs are turning into structure lows. That's interesting, right? That's when things get very interesting. And that's where you want to look to see if you can long the structure low. And that's also, you guessed it, the daily 20 SMA. So that's quite an interesting setup. And Snow has had some nice volatility lately. Did CRM ever get above that level? No, it did not. ES is sort of pushing right now. Yeah, right off the daily 20. So that's a good hold right now on the daily 20 on the ES. I like this. It's a good hold. It's a pretty good daily 20 hold right now. Yeah, very nice. That's going to be our watch. We talked about that. Can we push off this daily 20 on ES? You're starting to see a little bit. Let's keep an eye on it. All right. I think that's about it. Anything you guys want to look at from the chat? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We have a little bit of extra time today. So I figured let's, what do you guys got for me? Anything? Walmart, MRVL? Yeah, keep posting them. I'll look at them in a second. I'm just taking some profits on ES here. And move that to break even. Nice little ES long off the daily 20 there. Okay. ASTS pullback. Yeah, let's do it. Press that like button. Yeah, we need 1,000. We got 1,000 likes? What are we at? We're at 1,000. Okay. All right. I'll do it. All right. IWM. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Let me start with Kevin here. Is that Kevin? Yeah. Walmart. So Walmart. Ooh, you got yourself a little retest here. Yeah, a little 106 retest. Now, a little bit over the daily 20, Kevin, so we might want that. But I'd say this zone right here, interesting, right? Nice little retest there, Kevin. I'd keep an eye on that. MRVL, that's something I'm watching today. This 85 retest, daily 20. Keep an eye on that. Hims got smoked, man. Hims, the CEO, sort of effed up. CEO got a little bit greedy. Got a little bit I don't know what the word is. What's the word for what the CEO did? Not smart. Got a little bit childish, I guess you could say. Maybe an opportunity, right? Him shouldn't go down because the CEO said something like that, but hey, maybe it affects it a little bit, but maybe an opportunity. Let's see. I don't like it right now, though. I'd probably let this sit a little bit. I don't like it right now. I'd like to see what the outcome is. Reddit, yeah, hasn't been. I mean, okay, hold on. Maybe the pullback is starting to get interesting on Reddit now. 1 second. Let me clean this up because I haven't looked at Reddit in a long time. What are we pulling back to here? Okay. Yeah, Reddit's coming back to your daily 100 and that one. Yeah, this could be an interesting spot. This could be an interesting spot. Keep an eye on that 180 and daily 100. Definitely. We already looked at gold, but I'll look at GLD. So GLD's ripping right now, and it's because of a reclaim of this low. What was this, 394? 394 right there. That's your long. That's your pullback long now. This was the reclaim rejection I was looking for overnight, which obviously I took a loss on, but I did just make that all back with ES, which is awesome. Yeah, pullback long, 394. That's your GLD trade. That's the same thing as 4290 on GC right here. That's what I'd look for. That's exactly what I'd look for. IWM, ooh, daily 20 pullback again. Another big demand hold. Look at this. Yeah, IWM continues to rip off this demand, man. Look at this. Demand, man. Right here, look. Highs, lows. This is still a very good demand on IWM. Look at that. You're just going to have to sort of be careful of the 248 highs there, but definitely good holds. Like, still very much bullish structure. No doubt. RGTI, I was looking at that this morning. Guys, if you liked RGTI at 58, you should like it even more at 41, right? This is the thing that you got to remember. If you're going to trade these types of stocks, you can't not like it after it pulls back, right? You can't be like, oh my God, RGTI is down 10%. I'm no longer interested, right? That's when you should say, hey, I'm more interested. So RGTI, big runner, look for pullbacks, right? Pullbacks are the opportunity on, if you believe that this stock should go higher, you should be looking for when it goes down, right? And so I'm not that interested in this stock because I just don't really trade these small caps too much. But if I was a small cap trader, this would be the most interesting thing to look for, right? Pull back to the daily 20, pull back to these lows. Let me see what happens off 41.50, 42 here. That could be very interesting. So, TSM, it's got to get over 307.50. Good daily 20 hold, though, right? Guys, look how much stuff is just pulling back to the daily 20. And look at what's going on the ES right now. It is a perfect reclaim and hold right now above the daily 20. That is your watch, right? Look at the title of this live stream. All eyes on the daily 20. And you can see right now, you are just ripping off the daily 20. Ripping. We're long, we are long one ES contract from 67.20. That's right here. 2-point stop. Now up 10 points. Looking really good. All right. So, that's that. Break and retest, reclaim ripper, daily 20. Concepts all the same. Really looking good. Let's see what happens here. Daily 20, pullback longs. That's the spot. Watch the supply high. I want to try something fancy here. Let's get a little fancy with it. This is how I'm going to trade now. Standing up. All right, guys. I appreciate you being here. If you could, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Excited to new endeavor on the future side. You know, continue to do our break and retest action. Want to go all in on the live stream. So, your micro MOT sound fixed. Sure. Thanks for your lessons, mate. Alberto from Australia. How do we get to see your live trading? Live trading is in the description below. You'll see the insiders trading community. That's where we trade live on a daily basis. We do screen share. We do voice chat. And yeah, desk setup. I should put that in the. I'll put the desk setup in the description below. Maybe I can get some commissions on my desk setup. That's how I'll get my commissions, through a desk setup. It's a Magnus Pro Secret Lab. It's badass, man. It was pretty expensive, but it's badass. Money well spent, for sure. Especially if you're going to be in this office all day, if you're a trader and you're, spend money on things that you use, and that's a write-off, by the way. So that is a write-off. At least you could definitely write off if you trade and you claim that you're a trader, you could definitely write off some equipment. So rather get a new desk than give that money to the IRS, right? I'd rather take the desk than give the money to the IRS personally. So free desk. Free desk. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you did, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're on X, make sure to follow me on X. We do this every day starting at 8 a.m. Make sure to like as well. Comment. All the good stuff. Share it with your friends. Share it with your parents. Share it with your sister. Share it with your girlfriend and boyfriend. Share it with everyone. All right, guys. Have a great day. Peace and love.